Happy Vlogmas. Welcome to day 23 of the Vlogmas experience. I didn't put stuff up yesterday. I've got some footage from yesterday, but I'm going to put that in today's video. Today's going to be a bit of a sort of pick and mix type Christmas edition, I think. I've got a couple of little things I was going to talk about, so including some footage from yesterday. Yesterday was a very busy day. We popped into town and had some lunch out and things. Sorry, I've got to scratch my head there. This is a hat. But yeah, we popped out and had some lunch and we took the dogs out with us. So it was all a bit of an experience. And the weather here is freezing. Oh, if you don't know, my name's Duncan. If it's the first video of mine you've stumbled across, I very doubt it. But yes, it's really cold here today. It's snowing outside at the moment. I think it's hitting just below freezing at the moment. The other evening we had really bad wind through the night. I think it was gusting up to 95, they said. That's miles per hour, not kilometres. So yeah, I have a cat shelter for feral cats in my back garden. It's made of big car tyres, not just small cars, from big 4x4 car tyres. And that got blown around my garden. So yes, so the winds were bad. What was funny is we had this storm, and a few years ago the UK government started naming storms. But this one wasn't named, and I think it's because it only hit Scotland. And in Scotland, up here, all it is in there, it's coos and haggis. That's all we've got up here. But anyway, this little mere rambling is about the ghost of Christmas past. Because we've all got memories of our old Christmases and books and that we've read and all those experiences. So I'm going to put a couple of pictures up, really old pictures, and they look very dated. Yeah, the first one is of me obviously on a bike. This was my Rally Arena that I got it in 1977, which was a 10-speed racing bicycle. And I remember getting out, I rode that bike everywhere. And then the second picture of me, you see this one, there's a really good story behind this one. Me opening that big box there. This is a few years later. And this is me opening a record player. And this was a Boots Audio record player. I'll see if I can find a picture of it on the internet somewhere, because it was one of the ones that you put the records in and it used to automatically drop them. But me opening a big box there. But the funny thing about this story is I used to live in the south of England. We went to Southampton with my mum and my dad. My mum and dad were separated at the time, but we went with them together. And I remember we were shopping just before Christmas. We were wandering around the shops, and there used to be a big Boots shop. For those who don't know, Boots is a chemist, but it also sells lots of other stuff. And especially in the 70s, 80s, you used to sell loads of stuff. You used to have everything from audio equipment to CDs to things like that. But we went into the big Boots shop, and this was 2 levels and downstairs. And my mum was downstairs, and I can't remember, they distracted me or something. And then my dad came out with this big box, and he said it was, I can't remember who he said it was for. But anyway, this big box was, that box there I'm opening was this record player that they bought me for Christmas. And I basically helped carry that home, which was, yeah, quite bizarre. But also, Christmas past, we all, even if you're young, even if you're a lot younger than me, which a lot of people are, you have memories from your Christmases and Christmas past and things people bought you. Book-wise, people didn't really buy me lots of books for Christmas. I used to get annuals. I said there's the video I did the other day on annuals, which I will put a link to up here somewhere if you're interested in it on the Vlogmas one, or if not, it'll be on the Vlogmas list. Used to always get annuals and things like that, but very few people used to buy me books. But my uncle once, he brought me because he knew I was into science fiction and fantasy and things like this, so he brought me a set of books. But the books he brought me were a box set of 3 John Norman Gore books. And if you know the Gore books, they're Edgar Rice Burroughs rip-offs with a sprinkling of S&M. And I don't like to describe books as trashy, but they are a little bit trashy. I must admit, I'd quite like to read the first 3. Apparently, there's about 19 or 20 books in the whole Gore series. And apparently, later on, they got really, really S&M-y. But, they're very, very, all a bit weird. But, yeah, in some ways, I would quite like to read maybe the first 3 again. See what they are like and how you remember them. But yeah, I'd be interested in everybody else's experiences, what books they remember getting for Christmas, and if they got books for Christmas. So people very rarely bought books for me because they didn't really know what to buy me. bar sort of annuals or anything Star Wars related. I've got here in the annual video, I showed this Buck Rogers annual that a friend of mine brought me last year and gave to me. But what's interesting with this annual is in the front of it, I don't know if you can see it, it's got a little writing there. And what it says is, to Ian, lots of love from Nan and David, Xmas 1980. So that's got a little bit of history to it. But I'm intrigued because my friend's name is Ian, so I don't know whether he's given me his actually own book. I don't think he did because he wasn't into Buck Rogers, but anyway, it's me rambling again. But yes, so that's the interesting thing. I'm going to leave you now for a few seconds I can show you a little bit of video from yesterday. I said we went out and I had to drop some stuff off at the post office, and my wife's waited outside with the 2 dogs, and so there she is, sat in his powered wheelchair, shivering up with his 2 dogs, and it starts hailing, and I come out, and there's one dog hid below the wheelchair, one dog round the corner. But little Ruby, our Pomeranian that we've only recently has come to live with us. This was her first time sort of out in town like this, and our first time in the little cafe that we went into. So you'll see a little picture of her in there, but what you will see is that the fact that she's in a blanket on my wife's lap, because basically when we got in there, she was so cold, we took her out of her little jacket that she was in and had to get this little fleece wrapped around her to try and warm her up, because she's not used to this northern weather, because she's from down south. But yeah, that's why she's like that. And then you'll see, obviously, other little bits. It's only 30 seconds. Then afterwards, I'm going to do you a little bit of a Christmas reading, but it's not a Christmas thing. It is something that I've sort of associated with Christmas, but isn't Christmas.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or 2 ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lame, misfortune seemed his lot. He got into a drifted bank and then we got upset.
I hope you enjoyed that little bit of video there. I said I'm going to do a reading. Lord of the Rings. I associate Lord of the Rings with Christmas. Don't know why. I remember watching, book-wise, I never really said the book with it, but the films, which film was it? Was it the first or the second one that I remembered watching around about Christmas the first time I saw it? When the films were originally released, I refused to go to see them because I didn't want them to almost ruin the book for me. And then the first time I saw it was on VHS. And at the time I worked in a hospital down south, and I think it was on one of the wards they were showing it to people, and I was working nights, and I was going around there. I had to go around to do I was a radiographer, I had to go around x-ray people, and I ended up half the night watching part of the film through with some of the patients and some of the staff at the time. But yeah, that's sort of why I associate Lord of the Rings with Christmas. But I was going to read you one of my favourite passages from Lord of the Rings, and it is part of these are my favourite editions actually. I like these Collins ones. This is from the Ride of the Rohirrim, and I just really like this. Then suddenly Merry felt it at last, beyond doubt a change. Wind was in his face, light was glimmering. Far away in the south the clouds could be dimly seen as remote grey shapes rolling up, drifting. Morning lay beyond them. But at the same moment there was a flash, as if lightning had sprung from the earth beneath the city. For a searing sound, it stood dazzling far off, in black and white, its topmost tower like a glimmering needle, and then in the darkness closed again, there came rolling over the fields a great boom. At that sound the bent shape of the king sprang suddenly erect, tall and proud, and seemed again rising in his stirrups. He cried in a loud voice, more clear than any they had ever heard a mortal man achieve before. Arise, arise, riders of Theoden, fell deeds awake, fire and slaughter, spear shall be shaken, shield be splintered, a record day, a red day, ere the sun arises. Ride now, ride now, ride to Gondor. Ride now, ride now, ride to Gondor. With that he seized the great horn from Guthalf, his banner bearer, and he blew with such a blast upon it, a blast asunder, a straightway all the horns and the host lifted up in music, and the blowing of the horns of the Rohan in the hour was like a storm upon the plain and the thunder in the mountains. Ride now, ride now, ride to Gondor. That is like one of my favourite sort of passages, and it's like all the beautiful prose of Tolkien. And I thought, hopefully I've managed to read it justice, because I did struggle with spear shall be shaken for some reason. I almost put a Sean Connery accent on that. But anyway, so that's me done on day 23 and 22, and I will have one more for you tomorrow, and one hopefully on Christmas Day as well. But I will speak to you all very soon. Bye bye.